Pace, premium racing analytics, allowing bettors to identify races with extreme pace scenarios in a matter of seconds. Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Handicappers Report alongside Seth and Anthony, Mormino. 22 hours before the fact, taking over, which is pretty good for this week, Seth, because it's now at about a $7 ROI. For this is the third time that we've had, fourth time we've done it, but three times in the past, including last week, once again in a rough weekend for Merrow, and this year went okay. Now we're up to Seth. We'll be doing the closing day of Keeneland. When I looked at the card, I was like, I think our old colleague just got, I think he won the favorite once, but I think it's been in this slot at the last Friday of Keeneland now for a while. When I say a while, I mean like 20 years plus. I think back, I think there's been a couple of times when this Saturday of Keeneland has been also the Breeders' Cup. But Seth has closing day of Keeneland. I have Saturday, the last weekend. And what's I do is on the news side, the Mother Goose in October. It's funny. I know I mentioned this one time before. In my lifetime, Seth, which now I know is a long lifetime. I understand that part. There was a time when the Acorn was considered to be not the strongest grade one of the big three. And then the mile and a half CCA Oaks became kind of an anachronism as it is for the boys. And the Mother Goose was for about 15, 20 years the premier race in that series at 9 furlongs. I mean, it was, I'm going to say stuff at one point in America. For at least 15 years, it was the third most important 3-year-old filly race in America behind the Alabama and the Kentucky Oaks. And now, over the last, really since this century, the Acorn has become a great race. The CCA Oaks is really, it's ordinary. Back at 9 furlongs at Saratoga now. And the Mother Goose, as you just pointed out, you talk about what Bob Dylan's saying, the times they are changing. The whole, I mean, the Naira Philly Triple Crown went away. What was it a couple of years ago? Didn't they run like the Ruffian and the Go for Wine were like, I mean, they really had an interesting time with the schedule for the racing of the last 10 years at Naira. And with the expansion of Saratoga, that has changed some things. I mean, Woodward and Jockey caught on the gold cup in the Saratoga and the years ago. That was in Kingston. Well, it seems interesting that the Jockey gold cup was right before the Woodward. Yeah. I mean, it's just, and I think really part of this stuff is A, they're trying to find their way, which makes sense, and B, they're trying to hold, but where they're getting caught is they're trying to hold on to stuff that they don't want to let go, that it will be easier to find their way if they're willing to just let go. Because I'm telling you, I foresee the day when the Woodward could be a grade 3. Because I just think Saratoga as a jumping off point it's arrived. It's truly arrived here. I will say that until this past weekend, every weekend from Saratoga until 2 weekends ago was still pretty good. Yeah. With potential Breeders' Cup horses. I think you're right. And you said it years ago about, there were a couple of folks who kind of alluded to it, and then it happened. Saratoga wound up to do, all right, we're done. We're going to the Breeders' Cup. And now it's become more and more popular. The farther away from the Breeders' Cup, but there was still. I think the meeting even stopped just asking. We just assumed now, like I see it at the Breeders' Cup. I really think that the trainers, and this started really, I don't know when, 25 years ago, but this real 5 or 6 week gap, and that's kind of what leads you to how this is going to work. I mean, how infrequently this person's run is
That's
really
notable to me. Remembering back when I was a kid getting into the game was put the grand season. The wood was 2 weeks away from my district. That's just inconceivable.
Well, now, here's the deal. That was a place where Naya refused to move it. They were so slow, they dragged the feet. And on the flip side, I can remember not the outcry, but the almost giggling when Frank Stonehouse moved the Florida Derby to 5 weeks, and he wanted it no longer to be a penultimate prep. He wanted it to be the prep, and everybody, in the industry was giggling at him, and he was right. He stopped being a prep for the prep.
The thing about New York is that they eventually did, and as you say, there was, didn't want to, but
3 weeks,
it's understandable now when you look, because for New York to move it, they move it into a really questionable weather period.
Yeah.
Because, hasn't worked out for them in the past 9 years in certain situations.
First week in April, but it also changed the schedule. They finally gave up on the Bay Store being part of it. They moved the Bay Store to the part of the Woodward for the steps that you like, the 3-year-old sprinters, which is a great idea. So, but the times that are changing, what's not changing is that the PTs, the early PTs are after the Breeders' Cup. So you have some time to get work with that. The one thing I was discouraged, and I haven't confirmed it yet because it was on Twitter, is I think I saw the takeout rates on this, and this is not good. I mean, basically everything's 22% except win, place, and show. And I think most of us realize that on Breeders' Cup Day, win, place, and show, I mean, win is a bet I make because I like horses over 6-1, but it's exotic wagering. I think I saw all north of 22%. Now, for me, I'm used to that with the trifecta. I think one of the two pick fives, you get the break. I think it's 15, but the other one's like 23%. I was like, that is not the way to go on a day, but I haven't confirmed it yet. But, and of course, the running of the events, 2 races not on the TV, one of them being the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I just find that to be impossible to understand. I mean, it might be the greatest sprint race in the world, and you just and people have said it, like, there was no workaround. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I do too. With the television cable landscape where it is today, they couldn't find a spot. Now, they worked out for us. I haven't heard. I know you're checking into it. I haven't heard the extract to it. But normally on these days, because of the national TV coverage, we don't get to show the Breeders' Cup races. But I'm assuming without the national coverage, we will be able to show on OTB TV. I don't know about a couple. I'm assuming.
Now, I will say this.
And again, I haven't heard, you just never know, but it would seem crazy if they said, you can't see it.
Well, a couple of years ago, when I was at NBC, they wouldn't show the Manhattan on TV, and you can't sell it. And then the Cerrito was sitting there, and the horses are running behind them.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and I'm starting to think that with the Breeders' Cup, NBC only wants the classic. I'm really starting to get the feel as if they let them up to their own thing, they make it a 1-hour telecast. It'd be the classic. It'd be like, thanks, we don't have really any use for the rest of you. I really started to get that feel. A couple of years ago, a couple of years ago, it just dawned on me. 2010 was Blayman's and Riley. They moved it over to NBC for the hour, 8 to 9, the classic, off the other platforms. I think one of the things that might have hurt them, right, is NBC 2010. Yes. It was. Is NBC doesn't have their NBC Sports Network.
Right, yeah.
So we'll see, but for us, the better is you're watching the Handicappers Report, you're watching, we're going to find out hopefully the net. I mean, that would just be silly if they held the rights to them, and then, to me, I don't care. The order never really matters, and I understand the old build-up idea, but the sprint, I remember for years when the sprint and the mile were back-to-back, I thought it was the greatest hour of handicapping in the world. Then in '87, we moved the sprint to the first race when the Breeders got beaten, etc. But it's the best. It's my favorite day in horse racing. It's the greatest wagering. I love Saturday. Friday, they've never been able to work. They refuse to do the Saturday Sunday because they don't want to go against the NFL. But Friday never works with the track they now have with the Future of Stars. it's like you go to the track that day. It's like it's not doesn't have that buzz. But come Saturday, and yours truly will be there.
We're going to be checking in with you.
Yes, 6 o'clock in the morning my time, or whatever time it works for you. But trust me, I will be up. One time I had to do it from a Taco Bell parking lot, but it always works. I mean, the other day, I think we talked about LA traffic or something. You get up early enough.
Beat the traffic?
You don't beat the traffic, but you can roll. You can, I'll be able to get, because I'm staying in downtown Los Angeles, so it'll be an easy drive for me based on the time that I go. So, but I'm looking forward to it. You can start to get to work. This day and age is so easy stuff with YouTube and everything. I remember one year when they had Lone Star, so that sounds like 04, the Google Cup people put out, and I bought it, a disc of like the 5 what they thought was biggest prep races for, and that's outdated, and that was part of this venture. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I think this, I've said it before, I'll say it again, to me, you should really spend almost all day Thursday after the post this is a drive, making your bets. You spend a whole day processing your bets. Now, the one great thing I like is in California, one of the facts in California, you generally don't have to think about the weather. So you don't have to have a backup plan. The time you invest on Thursday, putting your tickets together on a big legal pad, to me, is the most overlooked, kind of a very important part of your work being rewarded. I mean, people wake up Saturday morning standing in line and go, who I like. Take all day Thursday and start to plot. Because something like that is the head of the mutual manager and want moving the program over when he paying the horizontal.
And I will make that point to people too. A normal day upstairs, you don't have to maybe plan ahead or a couple of days ahead your bets, and have them in your mind before you get to the front of the line. That always amazes me. I always have my stuff. Now I don't really get it.
Yeah, who goes to
punch out
tell it anymore?
But every once in a while I get one, and the people who are looking at the program and talking, it's like, write them down and just walk up and recite them and boom.
I would say it was probably 2021 when I'm at Belmont, and I really come to I want to beat Mormino, and Brian Nadeau and Joe Christopher, a whole bunch of us are right by the paddock, which is a zoo on Saturday. And it's like, hey, the race back to that, because I like CC and Edgeway. The pace of the whole vacation, but I'm just standing there, and I just whipped out my phone, and I was done, and I was like, I'd have muffed it. I'd have been a major bad move on my part. So start your work, get ready. Seth has closed their team. I have 11 at the Big 8 kicking off at 12:05. Hopefully Mother Nature will play nice. But it is a terrific card.
I think the game plan is that it is going to be nice weather. Certainly up here, we're having nice weather.
Yeah.
Summer with the more the merrier on that. Again, I went to Keeneland a little bit later on, but we'll kick things off. Belmont at the Big A. State-bred major specialist going 6.5 in race 1. Your thoughts?
Not to worry, next Saturday we turn back to Clarkson a little bit. The death knell of Seth walking out in the dark. 2-1-6 in the opener, and anyway, I don't have the fire in this, but one thing I want to point out, the mayor is Robert Dodd. And Seth's son now is getting to a point where he can drive himself around. I think this winter I am going to do a comprehensive study about broodmares on the racetrack that were outstanding, and Robert Dodd fits that mold, and how much of a dud they were in the spread. But it's really a function of how much these knuckleheads are paying for these broodmares. And you're going to see in a couple of days of the November Keeneland sale when they had the dispersal. I'm like, this never works out, right? It never works out. It's not going to work out for this. We'll pay $500,000. We're getting buyer figures in the 40s. This isn't going to work out. I'm just amazed these bright people. So I'm going to do that this weekend. Flying style gets my top pick. I'm clearly hoping for the early career type of races. Now, this is the type of thing that 3 races, June and August. sideline and comes back today. Nobody talks about this anymore, Seth, with young horse racing. But I really wonder if this is like a Buck Fins type of thing. Because this seems like you took September off after having a bad race in August. I just would like to, because this is a good comeback. The horse ran well in the first two starts, then ran awful, but coming back a couple weeks later. I gave it back to a good sign in Boston and Bellamy Road. So Flying in Style, number 2, my top pick. From the rail, very funny going out for David Banks, second career start. And for third, number 6, Wanted. Jim Ryerson, who I like very much, ran this, kept this horse in back-to-back off the turf races at Saratoga and raced well. Wanted, I think, to be tough from the outside and perhaps will better this rating. 2-1-6 in Saturday Wrestling.
I'll just jump in because I think you're in the same boat as I am. I put Vaulted on top. I put the Fruit down in the 4th spot. As you kind of alluded to. And very funny, I've got a circle and question marks next to 7 to 5. I'm going to be curious if the horse goes off at that, but this horse, to me, doesn't look like a kind of standout in this race by any means. And Michael Foley, Dave Bank, I'm going to be intrigued to see what that final odds are, but I have a very funny right underneath.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that intrigues me, and I do think you're right more than 90% of the time on dirt races, but the 3 has the best buyer speed figures by far, and it's 6-1. And very funny, don't you put the 2 or the 6 by like 1 or 2 points? So that's
and then like 25 to 1 in the debut.
Well, you're getting the left well angle there. That's why I'm like.
They're also tossed out on Robert Dad. I'm intrigued to know that situations like this come up every once in a while. I'd like to know the story behind it. It's owned by Lady Steele, who was the owner of Robert Dad. Who was also turned down.
Right. Why should I buy the homebred?
Yeah, it's a homebred, but they paid $450,000 for it. Now, if you buy it in conjunction with somebody, maybe that plays into it somehow. But I'd love to know the story of it.
Well, yes, to me, if you paid that price, then that's for a coach. Who knows is a building now, so it's even worse. So there's no residual value for the man. Makes no sense.
Second race, Belmont at the Big 8 today. Plain vanilla claim was going the 1-2.
Now, I will tell you, we're not going to get into this, but sometimes it's a matter of a tanker. I can't go into it, too detailed. But it's just the idea that, sometimes they sell horses they don't want to do. It's just because you have to sell a profit versus a hobby. There is some accounting backwork that involves, like you say, why'd you sell it? Why hobby? I just saw a profit that year. I didn't want to give up the mare, but I need to have $1.5 million. 264 in the second. Continental Divide. Especially folks, I don't put horses by name. I always like that name. That's always the bug out of the movie by Belushi. But what fears me here is that, David Jacobson got his sea legs about 6 weeks ago or more. He's just a tough guy coming off of turf races. I think Continental Divide, though, the bonus here for David Jacobson is you're looking at 6-1 on the morning line. I think we'll receive all of that based on the 2 turf races. But if you parse out and you get back to the dirt races now, yesterday in Southern California, they fit in this mold. I won't use it, but most of the time the buyer par, when I download them, says NA. But this says 80. Well, I've run 80, on the dirt. My point is, I know that this Continental Divide's in the mix, and I'm going to get a healthy price. The second Pit Boss, number 6, coming out of a good effort at 12.5, under Katie Davis for the big price of Trevor McCarthy. And then my friend's beer, Jeffrey Baker, comes out this runner, 2-6-4 in the second.
I'm going to have to see the Continental Divide screaming. It was a good movie. I haven't seen it in years. I want to say Blair Brown, was that the name? The girl?
The girl? It might be, the female. But
I find Hollywood funny because she was one of those people who had a career that she was hot for maybe 10 years and then just couldn't get out of it.
Now, you know what the Continental Divide is? Like, it's a thing. It's a real thing. Yeah. Wait. Okay. What it does is the Continental Divide is the divide which way the water flows in the United States. And to the east of it, everything flows to the east and to the west. I think it's got to be in the mountain time zone. Yeah, it has to do with, it's a real scientific thing. It has to do with the way water.
No, I was also thinking you were asking where it is exactly. It isn't in the center of the country.
No, it's to the left. Yeah, to the left. How many times? Yeah.
Third race at Belmont.
Remember he had robbed in the movie Continental Divide? So he's getting mugged, and then he realizes John Belushi plays a writer in it. And Belushi has written a story, I think, about in Chicago about the housing. And obviously, so the guy stops mugging him because he wrote the story about how tough the projects are to do his things back. It's Belushi's part of Belushi's best work. On a serious level, he was good.
Yeah, it was funny, but it wasn't like.
Yeah, it wasn't plastic. Right.
Third race at Belmont, Navy Special, 9 and 3/16.
372 in here, and I just dawned on me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a great movie, and the remake was good too. The Jackal is one of my favorite. It just dawned on me that two of my favorite movies was the Jackal, the old one who tries to kill the dog.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. It's a good story, right?
I think that it is. It might be one of those ones based on true events. 372
coming out of Ben Swedish.
Yes, that's exactly it. 372 as we're still in first season on the main trip of the Mountain 216, but the Jackal is certainly up, coming out of Kentucky Downs, running 1.5 miles. But previous to this, on debut with Forrest Duggan, I just think the Jackal is in very good form here to start at the top of the stretch, just so they did at Saratoga. I think we're going to get a very good trip with the Jackal. For second, number 7, War Officer. This was Centennial Farm Runner. Tried to get turf on debut. They stayed in and off the turf, and then ran very well in the turf debut. And so that's an example where, for me, that July 30th race, and I think I started to talk about it in the last half of the night. But I think we're finding now that, and I wish they didn't have it else, but they stayed in so they could hold their spot down the road, because you just realize so many people want these turf races that if you scratch out and you go to the back of the line, you might not get in. And the horse was about 6-1, and Barry picked up a hook. And you're just like, and then you come back and you see how well they run in the turf, and you're like, well, I just start to think that they really have no business when you're off the turf race. But War Officer is 5-2 with Irad again. And for third, Absolute Control, number 2, George Weaver's runner, I think makes the third stop in the United States, and the regular viewers will still know there's no way I'm letting the Bayou go by. 372.
Fourth race, playing another $45,000 claimer, 7-4 is the distance.
672B, ladies and gentlemen, and number 6 is Sagamore Mischief, first off the $40,000 claim. Number 7, Magnolia Midnight, was claimed from Linda Rice's barn September 3rd. Race well, first off the claim for third, scheduled to come from the number 7 post visit. I presume this is what makes the 2 and 2 even money. Colonel Bowman.
Yes, when I first went through the 2 of us, circled the even money on texting.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't.
And then I went, 2, wait a minute, I went that.
Yeah, there it was.
Fifth race today, Belmont. This afternoon, Belmont at the big A. Optional claimers, 9 winners and 2 other than 3/4 of a mile.
4-6-1. More than vows goes after Brian Lynch. I think in a good spot because we're right off 10 months, and the comeback race I don't think was very taxing. It was September 16th, the Open Mind Stakes at Churchill Downs was a nice sprint, which always taxing the Open Mind. And it was a good effort, and I think in the hands of Brian Lynch to move forward. I'm not expecting a big muscle regression. I'm getting 5+ weeks off and not, a huge number on the comeback. More than vows with Irad intrigues me very much. For second, you were told was in the first start, since our son's 17th birthday, people wouldn't know what that is, but it's August 25th, only 2 starts. Spence May, consistent runner, good speed, tactical, good position with Junior. The bosses. You don't see too many teams in stables around anymore. That's George Steinbrenner's, and then taming the Tigers. 4-6-1 in the fifth.
Yeah, must be his kids. One of his kids must be running.
Well, it's intriguing because the one son passed, Hank, and now he's very busy running the Yankees. So I would be intrigued to see who is running the horse racing operation.
There was a daughter, right?
Yes, there's a girl, and I think she seemed to come up in the names when the horse racing because the brothers were Yankees guys.
All right, why don't we take a break and then we'll concentrate on the pick six going on at the Big A to wrap things up in New York for Saturday, a little bit later on in Keeneland. Stay tuned.
I'm Seth Merrow, and as serious horse players, we know that information is critical when placing a bet. With live streaming of more than 30 tracks, race replays,